What is up, guys, and welcome to the channel. In this video we're going to be going over these Barnes four-wheel drive adjustable stoppers or bumpers for your spare tire. Let's get into it. Now, to start it off, guys, a lot of you might be asking, well, why would I want different spare tire bumpers on the tailgate of my Bronco? Well, I'm glad you asked, because we're going to talk about it right now. If you look, I have a zero offset wheel on my Bronco. See right there, zero offset wheel. Good luck running that plate, by the way, you won't find me. Now, on this zero offset wheel, it sticks out further than the factory offset because, you know, it's different size. It's about 1.25 inches backspaced. So these bumpers that come on your tailgate, these factory bumpers right here, they're not going to touch your spare tire anymore. And the issue that can cause is your spare tire just becomes a little bit more shaky, especially when you do high-speed shenanigans like I like to do. So a lot of people, what they do to solve this issue is they stuff a tennis ball there, but it doesn't quite fit right. It's janky looking. They'll spray paint it black, but the paint flakes off. It's not that great. So Barnes four-wheel drive has the solution for you. All right, guys, we have gotten the spare tire removed. Now we're going to take a Phillips head screwdriver and we're going to pop off these plugs. And if they don't come out with the screwdriver, you can always take a pick and pry it a little bit too. Which I might have to do. BRB. So mine's not coming out quite easily, and they said you might have to use a pick, stick that between the little retainer in there and the bolt head, and see if you can't pry it out. It's very adamant that it stays. It's one of those jobs, you know, where it says, oh, it requires like 5 tools. And you end up bringing out your whole garage. Or it's just my luck. There we go. So you see that retainer? I chewed it up a little bit, but no one's ever going to see it. There's the screw head here, and there's this plastic retainer here. Kind of got to get it all messed up to get it out, but it came out. Next up, what you're going to do is you're going to take it out. Just pull it out with some pliers. We'll swap it over to the next one after we cut to size. Okay, ignore my mess. But now what we're going to do, this is the old one. This is the pin we pulled out of it. Set that aside. New one. Butt them up against each other. We're going to be cutting quite a bit. These things are made for some crazy offset, apparently. It says you want to measure how much extra and then add 1/4 inch to that. So we measured that it was 3/4 inches more of a gap, and then add 1/4 inch to that. So we're going to cut 1 inch longer than this OEM bump stop. So I'm going to make my mark, measure up 1 inch, and call it good. For me, the mark is literally the base, the first notch. So we're just going to measure up 1 inch from there. I'm not going to use this thing. I'm going to use the dot to dot or line to line and see where that lands me. Put me right here, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's the 5th notch from the bottom, so we're going to cut right there. So if you have a zero offset tire, I keep saying tire, if you have a zero offset wheel, you can probably be fine doing it 5 notches up without having to do all the measuring. But if you want to be sure, do your measuring. Don't take my word for it, and we'll see if I'm even right in a second when I put this back on. Or if I can get this done without cutting myself. Okay, after you've made your cut, you're going to notice it's a little bit kind of jagged. If you have a file or some sandpaper, just go around and smooth it out, make it look pretty, and then we're going to pop that sucker back in. Alright, I just brushed that up with some 100 grit sandpaper. You could probably go more. Now I'm going to take this sucker and I'm going to stick it down in there. You might need a screwdriver to push it in. Bingo. Alright, cool. Let's reinstall it. So what we're going to want to do now is pull the screw back out just a little bit so we can close this, or at least tighten it up right there. So now it should slide back in, and then we'll tighten that sucker up so the anchor expands and holds it in place. Like so. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Alright guys, we got the bumpers installed. Now we just got to mount the spare tire back up. I have this jack set in place so that I can throw that tire, pretty darn heavy, onto my jack, slide it right over the lug nuts, bolt them in, call it good, and let's see if it works. Bingo. Using a jack really saves your back. All right, let's put those suckers back on. If you're wondering why I have two different lug nut sizes, it's because of my license plate relocation. I'm not going to tell you what brand it is because it's not a good brand, but it's not one you'd normally find if you're just Google searching it, so don't worry, you're not going to buy it. Alright guys, let's take a look. Look at that. It's perfect. It's compressed ever so slightly, which is what you want to see. It means it's applying pressure to that tire. And the way it's compressed, it's still sitting straight up and down. Let's go look at the other side. Yep, same thing right there. Right there. I like it, guys. Very happy with it. Check out Barnes four-wheel drive. Awesome company. Been around for a long time. Making a lot of Jeep parts, Fab parts, and now they make Bronco parts. Check them out, guys. Description. There'll be a link. Look at it. Thanks for watching. Bye. One more thing, guys. Cool your ash. Pack your trash.